during Mother's Day, Muhammad's father was here from Syria, and they actually had a Mother's Day dinner for me at Muhammad's house and told me that I was the best mother. Now, I mean, I'm telling you, we have come full circle. How did that happen? And I'm just going to be real candid and open with you guys, and let's just talk and let's be friends. And if you have questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them to the best of my ability. But what happened was, Muhammad told me years ago, he said, because, you know, just like Islam's agenda is to win people to Islam, our agenda as Christians is to win people to Christ. And so we have the same agendas, but we go about it in different approaches. And sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. And when I first started, I think I was so angry when I first came out of Islam, I think because of so much stuff in my life, that I probably attacked and hurt more people in Islam than I ever did to help anyone. And just my own bitterness. Like I said, I'm being really gut real with you guys tonight, okay? And so Muhammad, of all people, was the one who gave me the clue. He said, your goal is to win Muslims to Christ, right? And I said, absolutely. He said, well, then quit telling them how bad Islam is and start telling them the benefits of being a Christian. Now, this is out of a Muslim's mouth, and I thought, wow, you know, that's pretty powerful. And then I had an evangelist tell me one time, they said, Katrina, if you have a bulldog, and this bulldog is chained to this doghouse, and all this bulldog knows is this bone, that's all he has is this bone, and you know this dog is starving to death, and how would you get that bone away from that bulldog? You're sure not going to stick your hand in there and pull the bone away from the dog. You're going to come back with a bone, your nub of your hand. And so I said, no. I mean, think about this. And he said, I'll just give you a simple answer. He said, give the dog a steak. Give him a steak. You see, I know Islam has an agenda. I have an agenda. But the thing is how do we fight this battle? How do we stop Islam? How do we stop terrorism? How do we stop the abuse? And do I believe that all Muslim men beat their wives? Absolutely not. I don't believe that all Christian men and Jewish men don't. Abuse is on every forefront and on every level, on every income bracket, and from every class, from whatever. But abuse is wrong. Disrespecting anyone is wrong. And I have seen so much in my past 25 years, traveling the world, traveling the Middle East. I've seen women beat. I'm an abuse victim. Now, maybe my former husband is different. Have I met good Muslims? Absolutely. Have I met bad Christians? Absolutely. Have I met good Jews? Yes. Have I met bad ones? Yes. Have I met bad atheists? Yes. But we do have an issue here, and we need to know how we need to solve this and come together. I've been in now over 60 mosques internationally. People ask me all the time, how do you get in? I walk in. There's no mosque that you can't walk in. Do we have any Muslims in the audience? Can you, if you knew a Muslim was here tonight, would you reject that person? No. Well, Islam is going to do the same with you, because if you're going into a mosque, they're wanting to invite you in because why? You're on their territory. They're hoping to convert you. Because as you all probably know, it's basically a work-based religion, and they get points by bringing people into Islam. But anyway, let me just go back a little bit more to my testimony. I became very disillusioned and with Christianity, and when I saw this dedication of these people who would pray 5 times a day, and they didn't care where they prayed. You know? I mean, you can't be near a Muslim without knowing within a couple, just by their name usually, but within a couple of minutes that they're Muslim. They're proud to tell you who they are and what they believe. But we as Christians or whatever, we barely tell you who we are or what we believe. And that's not right. Why aren't we a voice? Now, you know, I don't know how many Christians and non-Christians and Jews and non-believers or whatever. That's not the issue. The issue is that we need to make a stand. And we need to stand for what we believe. And I really appreciate what Brigitte's doing. I've had the honor of meeting her a couple of times, just briefly. But you've got to understand the enticement. People say, how can you have been a Christian and then fall into Islam? Didn't you understand how awful it is and the abuse of women and all that? No, I didn't. This was in the early 80s when I fell into the Islamic agenda and realized that I was an agenda. That right now there's over 120,000 plus American women marrying Muslim men a year. When we first started into ministries like 12 years ago, there was about 7,000 women account. I feel like, Lord, am I doing my job? It's growing so rapidly. There's been more conversions to Islam since 9/11 than ever before. Because you know why? They're out there doing something. Like Bridget's talking about on the video. They're acting. They're doing something. They sent Qurans everywhere. They are on the college campuses. They are, one of their main goals, one of their main ways of evangelism, excuse me, is through marrying Christian women or Jewish women. That is one of their main goals. I remember Muhammad telling me him and his 2 brothers, all 3 married American Christian women, and several of us at a time. I might take it in just a minute. And several of us at a time. And I asked Muhammad, I said, Muhammad, why would you not marry a good Muslim girl? You know, why would you marry a Christian woman? And he said, because if we cannot take this, now this is out of his mouth again, okay? If we cannot take this country by force, we'll take our time and take it through marriage. The average Muslim marries or can marry 4 women at one time. People are going, oh, there's no way, not in America. Oh yeah, in America. I was married in Atlanta, Georgia in a mosque. Women were on one side, the men were on the other side. There was a curtain that separated Muhammad between the men and the women. And my whole wedding ceremony was done in Arabic. I had no idea. All I was doing was reciting and repeating what was going on. When I came out, I got my marriage license. I don't know if John can find that or not. I got my marriage license, and I saw that not only was my religion changed, so was my name. Because when you become a Muslim, you change your name to an Islamic name. Now, my children have Islamic names, but they were born with those names. It's a big difference here, and I know I'm telling you this for a reason, and I'm going to kind of skim over it, and I hope you catch where I'm going on this, okay? Because it's a political issue. Because we have someone in office who has a strong Muslim name. That's not their birth name. When I came out of Islam, I changed my name back to my Christian name. Okay? So for whatever that's worth. So that right there is a dead clue, all right? But Islam, like I said, is taking these women into the mosque. A lot of times, they're not even telling these women that they're getting married, that they're going in for an engagement, or they're just going in for a ceremony or whatever. Because it's a lot like the Jewish culture where you get engaged first and then, you know, it's like you can still, you're married, okay? Except you just haven't had the formal wedding, all right? And so this is happening all across our country. And it's not, like I said, it's not recorded in the courts. So that 120,000 plus number, it's not even a real number. There's no actual way to know. And I can just tell you, I mean, our ministry is not huge, but just by the letters and the emails and the telephone calls that I get, and I get hundreds. I mean, I can't even keep up with the emails and stuff. Just this week, talking about the political thing, on a political level, I had one of a state representative, he actually didn't call me, he had someone call me. He stood up, he was a Democrat, stood up against Islam. There was an email that's been going around, I don't know if anyone's seen it. It's like, can Muslims be good Americans and still be a good Muslim? And then it goes into all these different things. Theologically, no. Religiously, no. But they don't actually break it down. Well, he actually sent that out in 2006, and now he's up on the chopping block for sending this out. So they called and asked, could I help? So I actually took that document and put surah, when I say surah or ayah, it's like I put Quran verses and hadith verses, which is the tradition of the Prophet, to it and explained it out. So here's the document that went to that senator, and it also went to quite a few newspaper articles and stuff. So I actually brought it out and gave them reasons exactly why it wouldn't work. Because, as you all know, Islam is not bound by our laws. Who said that? I think it was Alan that said it. I have a diagram. I don't know if I have it on this one or not, but this will give you a mindset. I'm going to go back to my testimony. I'm going to open up for questions, because I just really want this to be a relaxed setting, and I want your questions answered. I think that is so important. It's like every time I have just an open forum where I do question and answers, there's so many misconceptions on both sides. I mean, there's been emails that have gone around about Islam that were not true, and I've had to say that's not true. And then it was the other side of things that were true, but were lies. Anyway, John, do you see those slides by any chance? You know what I'm talking about, the boxes? You got them? Okay. Well, this may help you mentally, even though I don't have the boxes. Imagine you have a box. Okay, and on top of that box, you have the word Islam. We've already said this tonight, but there is no separation between church and state. The Sharia law encompasses everything. Okay, when a Muslim comes up to you, they will tell you that Islam is the most complete religion, because even in the hadith, it tells you how to eat, when to dress, when to pray, what to say, when you pray, how to make love to your wives, how to bathe, how to wash, how to put your clothes on, how to take your clothes off, how to brush your teeth. It goes into every single detail. Every single detail. And inside this box, okay, the top of the box, you have the word Islam. And inside the box, you have a little dot. And that little dot is their life. Their life is so insignificant to their belief, because they're not living for here and now. They're not living here for this present moment. They're living for the afterlife. That's why they can strap bombs on their babies and send them in to blow up buildings. It's not really a hate issue as much as it is a theological and ideal religion. Because their only possible secure way to possibly, maybe, if Allah's having a good day, to get to heaven is to die.